everybody, welcome. It's Selena Kazawa here, and today we are going to be looking at another document. Yes, so this was the document that was out, but then it got redacted because there was some, editing that had to happen. So the document is back out again. So this can be found, I believe, on X. It's a very interesting document because you can see how many people are here. Over 52 people are reading this document currently. So it's, man, I just kind of love this like digital age where we can all just be like, yeah, you know, like we're sharing of information. There's, under like anonymousness. So that way we can all kind of get to the truth. Because really at the end of the day, that's kind of what we want. We all want the truth. So I warn you, this is a very, very, very large document. This is over 37 pages long. So it is going to be a little bit of a longer video. So hold on to your butts. Things are going to get interesting. However, please note this caveat, guys. This is all unconfirmed information, okay? So we're taking this all with a grain of salt here. We don't really know where the truth lies. So this is, I believe it's a fan-made document. So we're trying to just, so keep in mind that maybe this might not be 100% truthful, okay? So just take with a grain of salt. But a lot of times people like to speculate what happens because we all kind of need answers. We all really want to fill in the blanks as to what's happened. So, so this document hopefully will answer some questions. But at the end of the day, please remember that this is not an official statement from Nijisanji. So we'll never really know the truth unless they come out fully and say something. So anyways, so with that being said, we're going to jump into it. Get cozy. Get your body pillows ready. All right. And we're going to start. Okay. So this is the more refined, better source version of the one that you Tippin posted. So this is like the newer document. I'm reading this on February 28th, 2024 at 10:52 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this is the document that I'm currently referencing. If it changes again, I can only speak to this one that I'm currently looking at right now. Okay, let's begin, everyone. The TLDR is at the bottom, which I love. Fantastic. Pretty much TLDR. Nijisanji is probably evil, but anyways, let's it's gonna essentially at the very end. It's going to let us know the roundup. But anyways, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this. Okay. TLDR is at the bottom. All known Niji controversies are also towards the end, including the Korean, Japanese, and the EN branches. Read headings if you want to jump to a space of a specific session. Financial issues, a severe lack of spending from Nijisanji. In December 2023, January 2024, Niji bought back 2.5 billion yen worth of stock to artificially inflate their stock price. Stock buyback. Oh my God, that's bad news. This comes out to around 18 million USD, about the cost of a HoloLive 3D studio. Goodness. Okay. And this is the buyback information here. So all of these are like currently working, what's it called? Currently working links, but I feel like we're gonna go out on a limb here and trust that these sources are correct. So because there's a lot in here. This is a lot. This is a humongous document. Okay, so it says the progress of Treasury stock repurchase. A total number of shares repurchased in accordance with the resolution of the Board of Directors meeting held on December 18th, 2023. Total number of shares repurchased, that's a lot, 7,075. Okay, I'm bad with numbers, guys. 775,200 shares. Total amount repurchase cost of, oh my God, 2,499,980,997 Japanese yen. Okay. What do stock buybacks and such have to do with the company? The answer may surprise you. HoloLive is Nijisanji's main competitor. Yeah, that's true. And on top of investing in the company by buying the biggest 3D mocap studio in Japan, which finished last year, they outspent Niji 10-1. Wow. In terms of funding per talent. Wow. Management, salary, and projects. So 172K USD to 14K USD, upper estimate. Whoa. I mean, you can kind of see that because just Hololive seems it to be managed a little bit better than Niji. But, I mean, from an outside perspective. So, wow, what a difference, eh? Holy moly, that's a humongous difference. Okay. Keep in mind, Niji had almost twice the number of talents. See the problem already? Yep, I do. So this is AnyColor spending, Hololive spending. Okay. And then growth opportunities. Okay. Hololive's end of the year report stated approximately 6 billion yen for operational costs. On the flip side, AnyColor spent 2.2 billion yen for operational costs in the same fiscal year. They're selling general administrative expenses. Page 10 of AnyColor's financial report. Whoa. So this was Nijisanji's. Okay. So we had the net sales and then cost of sales, gross profit, selling, general administrative expenses, and operating profit. Already, Hololive looks so much better. It's like, man, this looks nice. I mean, granted, I don't know. I feel like all corporations have like a teensy bit of evil within them. We don't know, but let's take a look. We're going to go out on a limb here and say maybe Holo is actually okay. All right, so according to Hololive's own graphs and data, page 8 of their financial report of the 2023 fiscal year, approximately a third of that 6 billion yen operating expense was used for personal expenses, salaries, and staff management. This places the approximate spending at 2 billion yen, about 15 million in 2023. Subtracting all of Niji's selling and general expenses from that 2.2 billion yen comes out to 300 million yen for administrative expenses, 1.42 billion for accounts payable, trade, 390 million for accrued expenses, 111 million for contract liabilities. Oh man, oh geez, there's a lot of contract liabilities. Page 9 of the AnyColor report, for a grand total of 2.5 million USD spent on management and staff. 2.5 million divided by 180 talents for management is a pitiful $14,000 USD per year per talent. Oh my god, that's not even like a living wage. Oh my god. Yet Cover still spent 15 million on their 87 talents, meaning wow. Oh, okay, that's better. 172,000 per talent. That sounds amazing. I'm so glad someone's able to figure out these numbers. This is ridiculous. What a difference in like this is like a difference in tax brackets. This is like poverty levels, and this is like, yeah, you're doing good. Oh my goodness. Wow. Wild. Okay. This was done with a conversion rate of yen USD in April 2023. Assuming that 14K per year per talent for Niji is true, and assuming that the talent managers get paid about an average salary in Japan, which is 41K USD, we're looking at a talent manager ratio of 4:1. And that is if the managers are even making average and of said spending is on managers and nothing else. Considering that many job postings in Nijisanji is offering minimum wage, it may be closer to 20K USD, which is a step above minimum wage. At that point, this turns into a better 2:1 ratio. However, this has also begged the question, why are they paying bare minimum to manage entertainers considering they are an entertainment company? Yeah, that is very strange. Very, very strange. And keep in mind this is if all administrative expenses are spent on just management. Administrative expenses also have lawyer fees, insurance, equipment, rent, supplies, utilities. Cover's data specifically mentions that their spending is on personnel expenses for the number mentioned above, $15 million. In that case, if we take out about half of the administrative expenses and claim that the remaining is for management, that leaves us with a whopping $7,000 USD per talent. Oh, that's awful. So, about 7:1 ratio between talent and management if managers are paid average salaries. On top of this, only about 2/3 of the staff of AnyColor fall under talent management, so the difference may be even bigger than stated. It is possible, if not likely, the ratio is worse than assumed, upwards to 10 or 15:1. God, oh my God, that is, oh man. A 20-time difference between Hololive and Nijisanji when it comes to spending on management. ... AnyColor's balance sheet does not separate expenses between Japan and English. It may be possible, especially looking at Niji's recent job postings in Canada, the actual expense for management in Niji yen is worse than this Japanese counterpart. Wow. I mean, that I can believe, because they, like, the EN branch is such, like, a secondary thought that they're like, yeah, whatever. Okay. As a result of the above, the operating expenses for the fiscal year for Nijisanji were net sales of 25,341,711,000 yen, up 78.9% from the year earlier period. Operating profit of 9,410,018 yen, up to 124.5% from the year earlier period. Ordinary profit of 9,448,489,000 yen, up to 127.7% from the year earlier period, and net profit of 6,698,710,000 yen, up to 139.8% from the year earlier period. Net sales are up 80%. Whew. Yet operating profits are up 125%. Ugh. There is a severe imbalance of actually reinvesting into the company and spending money for their own talent, just by the numbers alone. Profits grew from 14 billion yen to 25 billion yen, but operating costs only went up from 10 billion yen to 16 billion yen. This is despite a sharp increase of Japanese and yen livers to the same period. Okay. On top of this, Niji only spent 500K on new equipment, machinery, buildings, and vehicles in 2023. For a tech company, that is surprisingly low. Yeah, I have to agree. In contrast, Hololive spent 13 million in the same area for 2023. This is just, oh man, it's so glaring. You can just by the numbers alone, it's so glaring that the difference. But okay, let's keep going. Compared to Cover, which increases revenue from 13.7 billion yen to 20.5 billion yen. On the flip side, their operating costs went from 11.8 billion to 17 billion, basically keeping consistent percentage of operating costs even with the revenue increase. That is not to say Hololive is free from their own controversies or problems. You can search up the Coco Taiwan incident. Yup, that's true. That did happen. In which case, one of their top streamers displayed Taiwan in her stream while looking at stream analysis of her own stream, which caused the Chinese antis to swarm her for a better part of a year. That actually happened, yeah. And the Brucia incident in Termination. The NDA breach that involved a drama tuber getting private info. And the Mel Termination NDA breach. That happened in January of 2024. However, compared to Niji's current situation, wow, all of these were handled professionally, and Mel left with a farewell message and most of the staff talent wishing her the best of luck in her future endeavors. These did have public backlash, but overall, the situation was handled professionally, and Cover didn't slander the talents as they left. Okay. Yeah, because like they're essentially saying here, yeah, Hololive isn't perfect either, but you know, let's continue. Spending issues, except when it comes to manipulating the company's value. Oh, girl! Niji is sitting on a big old pile of cash, supposedly. That I'm not surprised. Early 2023 had them at approximately 82 million. Hololive had similar numbers. AnyColor does have an edge in income and net profit, especially since they cut costs as much as they can. Yeah, by not, you know. Okay, you know my opinion on that. Okay, so why can't they hire management or the such? Okay, that's a good idea. Oh, what happened? Okay, sorry, I guess, I wonder if they're like editing in real time. That's interesting. Okay, working capital, liquid assets / assets can be quickly converted to liquid assets was at 12.5 billion yen, which is about $82 million. I mean, there has to be a reason why they're looking for part-time bilingual translators for the EN branch while offering only $8 USD. It's terrible. Yeah, wow. Which is 1,180 yen per hour, right? Nijisanji's low balling, yeah. This is crazy. The buyback. It's certain that they spent a good portion of their liquid assets on the buyback to appease the shareholders, about 1/6 of their total supposed liquid assets. They have a good amount of money, over 60 million if numbers are to be believed, but it's clear that for the past several years, they don't like spending money, unless it's inflating the company's value. That's so gross. Oh my god. Buybacks are usually what happens. Buybacks are usually what large established companies carry out since they have enough money to carry out such an action. Buybacks pump up the price of stock, but it's usually not long term. Basically, buying more equals higher demand equals higher price. A company that is hedging its bets on rapid future growth usually invests the funds they have to expand more, or at least the traditional theory goes, i.e. HoloLive. This recent controversy, Selen's termination, has crashed their stock prices into the gutter. Pre-buyback, oh my goodness, see how it's changing? I'm not even scrolling. Like, oh, I think this is getting changed live. What's happening? Okay, hold on. No. There it is. Okay. Here it is. Okay. The recent controversy, Selen's termination, was crashed their stocks into the gutter. Pre-buyback, AnyColor stock was hovering around 3,150 Japanese yen. After the buyback was completed in early January, it shot up to 3,800 Japanese yen. Now, it has crashed and is barely staying above the 3,000 yen line, a psychological line that would lead to mass sell-offs if they cross this threshold at, oh my goodness, 3,040 yen. Why 3,000 yen? Because that was the lowest point for a year pre-buyback. And if it goes under 3,000, it means bigger shareholders that were keeping stock price alive have given up. There is some evidence to support that this may happen when the Japanese stock market reopens next Monday, as the stock crashed from 3,180 at open to 3,040 by close on Thursday alone. Currently, the stock is struggling to stay afloat, and it has flatlined as of February 25th. We'll have to see how the stock manages over the course of the week. This is the lowest price in half a year, June 2023, and even lower than before the buyback. This is devastating financially, and they have the source here. It was expected that the stock price would drop eventually, but not until March, when Nijisanji would release its earning reports. This controversy has killed their buyback stock price inflation way earlier than expected, and is much more disastrous fashion as well. Okay, so just reminding you guys, this is my, once in a while reminder. This is all just speculation, and we don't really know, okay? The company just blew 18 million into nothingness with Jack to show for it. Oh, God. And the stock is even lower than before. Even worse, they can no longer buy back stocks, as they'll be unlisted if they do. Wow. So they can't pump their stock price anymore, and now they're stuck with whatever controversy hits their stock price. Total ownership between executives, investment firms, and corporations is now at 73%. That is very, very high. Nikkei Exchange requires at least 25% to be on the market. Nijisanji has over-leveraged. Ooh! Oh my goodness, this is bad. And since the price is now lower than pre-buyback, it means they lost money from that $18 million buyback. As the stock price they bought at is higher than the current price. The average price of the buyback was 3,200. So they pissed a full million into the wind. Oh no. Funnily enough, the Japanese stock exchange just hit their highest value the same day on Thursday, February 22nd. Meanwhile, AnyColor stock reached its lowest in half a year. It's like you buy up a bunch of items in MapleStory, betting on the item's price inflating so you can sell high, but the price crashes, you lose money from the purchase, and nobody wants to buy your items. That's fair. So, while their main competitor is showing tangible results with a brand new studio, an upcoming VR platform, and more events, Niji spent all that money that Holo spent on buyback. That failed. Oof! Even worse, remember that Niji also carried out a stock split last year, 15-1. So while Niji has pulled off every trick in the book to artificially inflate their stock price except a dividend, ouch, the end result is a stock that has barely risen since last year. Oh my goodness. So yeah, so the YOY stock price change as of February 26th, HoloLive has gone up by 83%, and then Niji has gone up by 40%. Basically, Cover's stock price has actually increased more steadily than AnyColor's, even though Cover hasn't done much to inflate its value. Just existing and just be like, man, we're not Niji. People are like, all right, we'll support you. This is not to mention that Niji's IR statement last year mentioned how Niji En would be the pillar of their business. Oof. For a pillar of business, you don't support it very well. Currently, Japan's economy is in a recession, or is set to be, and the yen is extremely weak. Not only that, but the JP market for VTubers is oversaturated. Oh, goodness. Okay. Niji needs to show solid future growth potential to appease its investors, but with its recent controversy, ... In the fiscal year through April 30th, 2024, we aim to actively pursue debuts of both Nijisanji and Nijisanji En VTubers in an ongoing basis to strengthen existing units. In terms of business segments, we expect commerce and promotion will remain a growth divider. We will put effort into expanding fan segments overseas, though such measures as exhibits of both Niji and Niji En at the overseas events or business with overseas companies. This is from their own, Niji's own financial report in 2023. It is looking extremely unlikely. This is ridiculous. For it to be like a pillar of, like, you're like, oh yeah, the English, this is going to get us all the money. But then you don't even support them. Like, what are you thinking? Like, money doesn't just come out of nowhere. Okay. Overseas branch controversies and Nijisanji's cover-ups. Okay. Here's some information about their other branches. This is not the first time the company has blown up in its overseas expansion routes. It's pretty on par with Nijisanji. This is the fourth branch they've blown up in the last 2 years. Oh no, Niji India branch. This was a mess from the beginning. They had no proper support, and the company tried to rebrand them as EN to catch HoloLive's hype, which debuted an English generation first. They immediately terminated the entire branch after the fumble. Oh, that's not fair. That's not India's fault. That's just poor management. Niji Indonesia was shot because the parent company pulled out of any and all support for no discernible reason, as Niji ID was doing fine and Holo ID was even thriving. Niji Indonesia had a good management. Arguably, it was one of the best managed branches. Wow. Even including Japan, in my opinion. The staff didn't shy away from appearing on stream, and they even created a dakimakura of the chief of staff member. Nijisanji fired management to, you guessed it, cut costs. Oh! The entire branch was folded into Japan, but most have either left or were terminated. That's gross. It's like, you were doing well. No. Time to shoot ourselves in the foot. And Niji Korea, Niji KR, which was why Elira's click theory caught on in the first place, since Korean branch was run by a female VTuber with an actual clique that doxed the other talents. Ah! Her name was Ara, and she was a bully who slandered the entire branch, pretty much everyone in Niji KR. Ara was suspended towards the end of Niji KR, and as a result, a lot of her controversies slandering Niji KR were leaked, and she was sued by Yuya, another Niji KR member. Wow. That's incredibly bad. So they're like, you know what? This clique, I'm going to steal that idea. No! Good management would have suspended Ara while trying to confirm facts and firing her once confirmed. Instead, the Korean management protected her and went after the forums that were exposing the information. DC Inside Virtual Stream Gallery. The timing is incredibly on point. Yami tweeted out a message of exasperation when this happened, and much of Niji KR took a lengthy break in January of 2022, right before the termination of the branch, likely in protest. It's not a coincidence that the two graduating announcements happened at the same time. Wow. Oh, no. Why did you get rid of the Indian branch? They could have managed everyone else better. This is not including one of the first people they hired in Korea who had an extensive background in being a bully. What? TLDR, she worked for another company and abandoned them when Niji moved to Korea, and she sabotaged her own genmates to get a leg up. Gross. Said Liver, Morin, bullied people viciously enough that it caused one of her high school classmates to end up in hospital, which required surgery. It wasn't bullying. It was straight up World War II Japanese-style torture. Ironic, according to reports. Whoa! More information is here. The Elira click theory is a conspiracy theory that claims that one of the Niji En talents took over management role as they could speak Japanese, and management was either terminated or underpaid, hence constant reshuffling. I mean, that it's a good theory. It's a good theory. As we're just a quick reminder, This is all a theory. We don't know for facts. Okay. As expected, the KR branch folded quickly after the scandal. It is rumored that ID was also bundled into the fold since KR and ID died at the same time. It would look like Niji was centralizing rather than killing branches due to their own incompetence. Oh! The female VTuber Ara involved got away scot-free, by the way, gross, for reasons we can only speculate. If anything, Nijisanji buried her background as deeply as possible. Wow. So they're protecting one person and not others. Okay, interesting. The numbers, Mason, what do they mean? EN viewership and super chats. Now, look at Enna's, one of the biggest female streamers' recent concert and birthday live just this week. Compared to last year, views and earnings are down more than half, with most of the donors/viewers from Hong Kong compared to last year, which was mostly United States. And then they have the sources here. This is all public info that can be seen on the YouTube analysis website. 44% of viewers and donations last year were from the United States, while 14% were from Hong Kong, China, and Japan. Yet this year, it's the reverse. 24% from the United States, 55% from Japan, China, and Hong Kong. Okay, so yeah, the Americans are like, I'm getting tired of supporting crappy companies. No thanks. Enna is a great singer, and she's one of the biggest talents left in EN. She had a lot of fellow livers join her concert stream, yet her numbers were down massively. Coincidence? I think not. Just this year, Niji En had 3 talents leave the company: Pomu, Selen, and Kyo. Nijisanji's CEO even stated that if the talents leave, their fans would be redistributed amongst the other talents. Oh, that is so gross. Like, you're just like, whatever. They'll just like somebody else. It's like, that's such like a disposable mentality. That's so terrible. Yet Pomu and Selen were the biggest female talents in EN, while Kyo had sizable following as well. So why are the numbers way down with almost evaporated support from EN nations like the US? Why are Nijisanji livers, many of them talented in their own right, unable to hit 4-digit CCVs except for the select few, with an even steeper fall off from the later gens? Okay, so here's the lots of red. I'm seeing lots of red here. And even worse, abysmal donations from the public, to the point where 2 members of their newest gen earned a grand combined total of $8,000 in 4 months. Oh man, that sucks. In comparison, the lowest super chatter member of Hollow EN, the most recent gen, Advent, is Bibo with 100K in 7 months. Wow, that's incredible. Your guess is as good as mine. Well, I mean, I can see probably the news of how they're treating their talents doesn't jive well with the Western market, so that they're voting with their wallets. All right, here we go. So this is, okay, so we're currently at page 11 of 38. Afterward from the author. If there had been effective management or any sort of quality control from the parent company in Japan, all these controversies for every overseas branch, especially EN, probably wouldn't have happened. Yet the company seems very short-sighted, focusing on immediate profits while sacrificing long-term stability and growth. Dope! Q3 might be fine in terms of earnings due to Niji fees, one of their biggest yearly events. But with their overseas market getting killed one by one, what does Niji have left? Shareholders do not want to hear the phrase, "we're stagnating," from a company that they own shares of. Yet, due to all the short-sightedness for profit, that's exactly what's about to happen. If EN was really going to be their pillar, maybe they should have invested more into it. Yep, exactly what I said. Exactly. Turns out, investments into the company and talent's futures, alongside money for stable management and projects, are better than stock buyback. Who knew? What? Surely you jest. TLDR. Nijisanji is facing serious financial and reputational troubles. Bad investment. Niji will spend $18 million on stock buybacks to boost their prices, but it backfired. Their stock price is now even lower, resulting in financial loss. Not to mention, distinct lack of investment in their own talents and management. The company has focused too much on profit margins and stocks rather than trying to actually grow stably. Yes. Weakening position. The controversy has damaged their reputation with investors. This is compounded by Japan's struggling economy and saturated VTuber market. History of failed expansions. Nijisanji has a record of poorly managed overseas branches, Indonesia, India, and Korea, which is hurting their growth potential. Declining popularity. Recent events for key talents like Enna showed decreased viewership and earnings, especially in Western markets. Conclusion. Nijisanji's path ahead presents significant uncertainties. Rebuilding investor confidence and demonstrating successful global expansion is critical, but recent actions and declining popularity pose a formidable challenge. In short, all these controversies, including the recent Yuki Twitter scandal, all lead back to Nijisanji's model of operation, which sucks. The company is trying for short-term profit and axing much of the crucial infrastructure needed to expand and maintain their fan base. This is why it seems like Niji En is out of control with no management. Because from all we know, their own financial data and the leaks from past livers, they may actually be a lack of one. Yep, you can't build a good house with a bad foundation, guys. You need to have a model of operation. You need to have, like, you know, open door policies. You need to be able to support the one thing that you need to support, which is your talent. It's ridiculous. Okay, let's keep going. All right. All known controversy scandals, black company behavior here. The author had an aneurysm seeing how bad Niji has run. Oh, goodness. Starting with Niji JP. So the Japanese branch. Shindo Raito scandal. Okay. Shindo Raito was hired by Nijisanji back in 2019 and still holds the records for the fastest termination of any liver ever. Oh my goodness. His background is extremely controversial and criminal. Oh my goodness. Wouldn't you do a criminal background check before you hire somebody? Basically, he had an extremely sketchy past in which he claimed he had, whoopsied underage people and arred them. On top of this, he admitted on his PL accounts that he signed up and joined Niji to do bad things to female livers and to do a lot of off-collab events with them to achieve his goal. That's disgusting! Niji caught on within a few days, but he allegedly doxed some livers. Oh my god. And leaked confidential information before being terminated. How do you even get access to this stuff? This is ridiculous. Oh my god. That's horrible. This is horrible. By the way, all this information was on his public account, such as Twitter, before he joined. Oh my god. What? Why the heck did Niji not check his background? And they seemingly committed the same mistake later with KR for Ara and Murin. And, like, guys, like, okay, just to give you some context. I mean, like, back earlier in my, streaming career, like when HoloLive and Niji would be like, hey, we're hiring for, and I was like, oh my god. And I filled out, like, the forums, and I'm like, oh, I hope they pick me. Obviously, they have people they already have in mind. Anyways, but when you fill out these forms, it's like a Google document. It's like usually like 3 pages long. And usually it has like, you have to list every single social media that you have. So the fact that like you're meant to do that and then they don't even check it is so bizarre. You'd think you would vet your people before you even hire them. Like they ask for the information, but they just don't care, I guess. It's just they already have their people in mind because they don't actually hire small people. They hire people with already established fan bases because they're like, okay, we know you're a surefire hit, and we know that you can make us money. So that's disgusting. That's disgusting. Wow. Okay, let's keep going. Huh. Okay. Gundo Merai's joke and termination. Gundo Merei. Sorry, Gundo Merei was not an unproblematic talent. She had been warned numerous times before by management due to her saying insensitive and inappropriate things. Yet, despite this, she was one of the early livers and had been in the company for several years at that point. She debuted in 2019 and was terminated in 2023. If she was so problematic, why was she still there? I know. Yet, the official reason for her termination was making a joke about baseball. The joke in question. Mirai commented on her ignorance of baseball rules while reacting to the World Baseball Classic. Among other jokes about how she does not know what a strike or a home run are, she tweeted, if a strong person is standing there, can the person who pitches the ball chuck it at their head or body and make them leave the pitch that way? I guess technically you can. I think it's like when you bean someone. I think that's something like that. Anyways, that's a weird joke to get fired for, but okay. Now, it is fair that there were legitimate concerns about her comment, which sparked viral outrage within Japan, that could lead to the end of Niji's collaboration with Koshin. their big yearly event, along with perms and stream power pros in conjunction with it. What is not okay is that the company deciding to throw their liver under the bus, sound familiar? And even joining in on the hate against her. That's gross. Basically, the company outed all their grievances with her in public to soothe anger. The agency added that it had reprimanded the VTuber for inappropriate statements on numerous occasions in the past, and that she posted the tweet without heeding the warnings. The company is currently scrutinizing Gundo Merai's publicly available content and vowed to ensure its talents do not step out of bounds in the future. I don't know. Okay, yikes. Okay, there's that's a lot to unpack. If you look into these terminations, except Shindo's, of course, which Niji should be applauded in terminating that quickly, they all have a common theme. Niji throws their livers under the bus when they terminate them. Why? Well, easier to tell the shareholders that the talents are the problem rather than management and such. He's like, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Terminating them with a grocery list of sins looks better than justifying to shareholders, oh, they're just a troublemaker and they deserve to get fired. I always like, yeah, this is bad. This is like, deflection, absolute deflection. Look at Zaion and Selen's termination letters. Look at Yugo's as well. They're all worded very similarly with pages of supposed crimes with a valid one or two between them. I know, they're such like minor infractions. They're kind of ridiculous, yeah. Mirai and other former liver Meiji also mentioned how working in Nijisanji was like prison after their graduation termination. Yes, this is bad. Many people are saying it. It's kind of crazy. Okay. Mito's revolt against Nijisanji. This is a pretty significant one, as Tsukino Miko was the first Niji liver, similar to how Sora is Hololife's first. The fact that she took a stand along with a number of other livers against management and the company in 2018 and 2019 should be telling. Oh man, the writing was on the wall. Due to incompetent management that had lowered the livers' morale significantly, many talents, including Mito, openly rebelled and demanded better conditions. That's good. Unionize, let's go! It started off as a joke, but rolled into an actual... What? No way. It rolled into an actual union-like group that clamored for improvements to management and standards within the company as a whole. I mean, that makes sense. That's what should happen. Some of the worst complaints were from the list. The company making livers foot the bill for their own model without telling them beforehand. Disgusting. Lack of management and support. Come on. Nijisanji pitting the livers against each other and creating a hostile workplace. That is awful. Really bad quality toilet paper? That's bad. This is a grave sin in my eyes. Yes, I mean, how can you comfortably sit and stream for 5 hours when you have like, sandpaper toilet paper? I agree. This is all very bad. This is all super bad. IIRC AnyColor back in 2018 was run badly with respect to its treatment of staff and talents. It was so bad that Tsukino Mito, the first Niji liver, was calling them out as a black company. Yes. Needless to say, with Niji members staging a revolt dubbed the Niji Resistance, they called out bad practices, albeit as a parody. But the message was sent and management made changes to improve conditions. Don't remember what they did explicitly, someone please reply. But the thing is that was 2018 when the company was small and concerns were addressed towards its domestic main market, that being the Japan branch. Okay. Unfortunately, their efforts were in vain, as we see today. Yeah, that's true. Nijisanji didn't change. They just covered everything up better. With all those problems still exist within Niji to this day, except for the toilet paper, which I really hope they fix that. Go to Costco, man. It's good quality stuff. That's so sad. Wow. Like, even like from within, people are telling you, this is a problem. Hello. And they're like, nah, stupid. We got Roa / Meiro controversy. We got Yuzuki Roa, a VTuber with Nijisanji, has been on hiatus for more than a year following a dispute in October of 2020 with fellow, now ex-Nijisanji VTuber Kin Yozaka Meiro, spurred by the latter's adapting a way of speaking very similar to Roa's, among other things. Don't copy her homework, bro. Behind the scenes, chats involving the two and management were leaked by gossip VTuber Narukakami Sabaki, whose intervention stoked anger among viewers with accusations of bullying, something that both Roa and Nijisanji management company AnyColor, then Ichikara, had disputed. Meiro, identified as being behind the leaked info and having twice announced her retirement just to take it back, was let go by AnyColor due to difficulty establishing a relationship of trust and violation of her non-disclosure agreement in her contract. Oh my god, this is just terrible. TLDR, Meiro, who was hired after Roa, began copying Roa's mannerisms during her streams. Roa asked her to stop imitating her, to which Meiro refused, claiming it was her natural accent. This led to a fight between the two, mostly on Miro's end, and management failed to settle the issue. Management failed to settle the issue. Notice a common theme here. Oh my god. The end result. Confidential info and Discord messages were leaked to an infamous Japanese Keemstar equivalent, Narukami Sabaki. Meiro was confirmed as the leaker. She leaked this info to her friend, who leaked it to Sabaki, and tried to portray Roa as a bully, which led to an anti-campaign against her. Meiro tried to graduate twice, pulling back each time at the last moment to create a public narrative that she was being bullied. Management let her get away with it the first time, but she was fired after the second time after they discovered an NDA breach. Roa then brought on a lawsuit to stop the slander online after she was forced to go on a hiatus for a year due to the abuse she received. Oh my god. They are just the worst company ever. They can't get anything under control. Which leads to the conclusion that these two livers going at each other, or in Roa's case, defending herself from the mobs, and creating media controversy in the process for a few weeks minimum. Meanwhile, Nijisanji sat by while doing nothing. Shocker. This one was entirely preventable on Nijisanji's part, unlike Lulu's case where Auntie swarmed her due to pure hatred and nothing else. But still, you should be protecting your talent. This is like, you're barely doing anything else. So you should be doing something. You should be managing and you should be protecting. Had they released any form of public statement or conducted an internal investigation swiftly instead of being on the back foot and allowing slander against Roa to spread, despite her claims being verifiable, none of this would have occurred. Instead, they waited 2 full months before actually terminating Meiro. By that time, the outrage campaign against Roa was already in full swing. Also, Meiro was lying about her accent. She was copying Roa to eat into her viewer base, which is disgusting. That's like very scarcity mindset. Like, make your own identity and just go with it. Like, don't copy other people. A black eye from Keemstar. Nijisanji tried to sue Sabaki, though, and lost spectacularly. Mwah. Imagine that. A big billion-dollar corporation unable to prove that Sabaki was slandering their own talents despite Japan's draconian slander laws. Basically, anyone can be sued for slander as long as their statement, even if they are true, damages a reputation or an image of an individual or organization. Man, they still lost. Because they have a very archaic law system. When they had a clear-cut evidence that he used leaked information to start an anti-campaign against one of their talents. Oh, goodness. Axia harassment and controversy. Axia Corone was a unique case that sounds familiar to some in the VTubing community. Due to his model and personality, he developed a very parasocial and out-of-control fan base that infantized him, harassing his every move and trying to control his actions, including who he collabed with. When he fought back, he was swarmed with antis for a month. It reached a breaking point where mods could not stop the antis, even with subscription-only chat mode, and his antis spread this harassment campaign into the public sphere, brigading streamers outside the company about him. This led to a long hiatus. Oh my god. Again, not protecting your talent. A large portion of his fan base kept infantilizing him, even though he told them to stop, and RP'd as his mom or manager. Every time he told them to stop, they just responded with things like, oh, Axia-kun is just in his rebellious phase. They were toxic and controlling, telling them who he can and can't collab with. That's, yeah, toxic fans. You gotta have a stance on that. You just gotta put an end to that, or it keeps going. But they don't care, because they take the talents, they chew them up, and they spit them out. So it's pretty sick. In the end, instead of trying to help him moderate his chat or support his attempt to return, Nijisanji watched with their hands folded and accepted his graduation after he stated it was difficult to continue his activities because what I wanted to do in the direction Nijisanji did not match. Gross. Why is it listed under here? Because again, this one seemed more preventable compared to Lulu's case. Nijisanji had every opportunity, every power to help Axia moderate his own chat, set up preventative measures, or prevent any harassers towards other livers who associated with him, or cut the issue in the bud early on. Yet they didn't. Surprise, surprise. And a talent, multiple talents considering the previous controversies, suffered for months before finally choosing to graduate. It just sucks that you have to graduate because of your company's incompetence. Like, it's not really fair. I criticize Hololive for their handling of Coco's Taiwan incident, as you should, because that was awful too. Similar case where Chinese Antis swarmed her chat, which also had the bare minimum preventative measures, caused her and associates to suffer from a month-long of abuse. I will also call out Nijisanji here. Yeah, rightfully deserved, yes. Niji did handle the 88 slander cases a month after the harassment campaign started, so I applaud them for becoming harsher on the harassment from Antis. They could have done better. They could have done better. All right, so here's the next point. Niji's Antis harassment and S scandal regarding Aloe. Aloe was an IRL friend of Cheeto's before joining Hololive. Cheeto's leaked some information about the toxic and poor management issues within Niji prior to Aloe's Hololive debut. In a stream using her PL account, Aloe brought this up in passing, but in a very vague way to steer clear of slandering any talents in Niji or the company itself. She mentioned the potential dangers of working for corporations and only mentioned Chioto's name in passing. This led to Niji's Antis to swarm her chat after she debuted with Hololive, going as far as to pretend that they were Holo fans to harass her in chat. Shortly after, they doxed her, tracing her relations with Cheetos back to her PL, even going as far as sending yikes threats and spam calls to her house and family. Due to this, Aloe also attempted to exit the mortal realm, but thankfully recovered since. She left Hololive due to this abuse. This is terrible. Basically, Niji Antis drove her to attempt this. Melissa Kinrenka's graduation. This one is a little bit less eye-catching. The short version is Melissa Kinrenka was pursuing a more musical aspect in her career. As such, she requested to own the rights of her own music, specifically 2 of her original songs that she made and produced. Sounds completely reasonable. Niji's management rejected her request, citing the fact that they legally own her IP, her model, and her music. This led to her deciding not to renew her contract and graduating from the company. Good choice. This one isn't as bad as in comparison to others. However, it's still a head-scratcher that this company is willing to lose some of its most popular livers left and right over the difference in IP and rights and the music that they paid and produced for. That's ridiculous. When someone doesn't even own at least a portion of what they had originally wrote, it's kind of crazy, right? Like, at least like a 50-50 split if you're not going to be like, yeah, I'm not going to give you all of it. Do some things. Come to a compromise. They're ridiculous. Wow. All right, we got bullying. Sorry, okay, we're on page 20 of 38. Just a quick reminder that this is all speculation, guys. All right, take it with a grain of salt. So it's interesting that these are, fan theories with some proof that, you're trying to kind of fill in the blanks here. But yes, like I said, all speculation, and let's keep an open mind, okay? We got bullying, toxicity, and cliques, all the good stuff in Niji Korea. Skip this part if you read the previous part about Niji Korea above. It is the same thing. Okay. Okay, we did read this. Yes, we did read this part. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. Yes, we did. Okay. All right, the final, Niji En and why overseas fans are up in arms. I mean, there's a plethora of reasons, but yeah. There's a whole separate re-entry about the various controversies from Niji En. Here's an incomplete list over here. But these are some of the major ones with evidence, or at least some context. Vox Akuma grooming allegations. Vox has numerous accusations against him, specifically accusations of grooming and engaging in inappropriate behavior towards girls as young as 12. Oh my goodness. I will note these accusations are mere accusations. They are not the truth and should not be considered the truth unless settled in a court of law. But these allegations surfaced at the beginning of his tenure at Nijisanji. Basically, this is not something new that someone is printing out in light of Nijisanji's recent scandals. This has been around 4 years. Oh my god. I will link said accusations here, which have long been deleted along with Vox's past life. Ha! Wow. Oh my goodness. That's a shocker. That's a shocker. Okay, let's keep going. Yugo's termination, unnamed, formerly known as Yugo, was terminated without any explanation. They were never given a proper farewell, and the reasons for the termination is still unknown to this day. However, the termination was seemingly something he accepted. Regardless, this was seen as the beginning of terminations, graduations, and worrying over Niji En. Oh dear. Suspect what's going on. AR live cancellation. This is fairly straightforward and adds to the cluster chuckles vibe at Nijisanji. Basically, there was an AR concert planned for Niji En. 19 livers were involved, and it was set to be a 3D debut for many of them. That sounds awesome. After months of effort, with many livers flying to Japan to practice and record the concert, it was canceled last minute. Boo! Cue mass protests and snide comments from the livers. Fair enough. It was officially canceled, but many had hoped it would be an indefinite postponement rather than a full cancellation. It's clear that the AR concert is officially canceled since it's been over a year with no word about any rescheduling of this event. How do you goof this up? How do you, like, would you lose the footage? Like, what happened? Like, someone, like, dunked the hard drive in, like, a cup of coffee? What happened here that you literally lose everything that people, like, literally jumped on a plane, came to Japan for? This is insanity. Insanity. Okay, false ID slash Kyo copyright struck. Even for newer or casual VTuber fans, this was a well-known event within the community. Basically, Nijisanji decided to copyright strike and shut down false IDs and Kyo, two prominent members that covered VTuber news. Not cool. Keep in mind, this was due to Zaion's termination and controversy surrounding it. Basically, Nijisanji copy-striked them for trying to uncover information about the issue to silence them. Yes. This almost led to False ID's entire channel being taken out due to the rapid succession of copy strikes. Unsurprisingly, this may explain why he's more than happy to cover Niji's recent downfall for good reason as well. Yes. Yes, absolutely. While going after Sabaki was commendable, as he was Japanese version of Keemstar and purposely slandered talents for clips, False and Kyo were pretty much impartial and presented news, especially for smaller VTubers as well. The fact that Nijisanji disagreed with their criticism of the company and attempted to silence them should not be ignored. Absolutely. Free speech is a real thing. They are willing to use every trick in the book to silence opposition and criticism. This should be a surprise to no one. Yeah, it's I mean, we're seeing it even yesterday. We're seeing this again. So it's like a reoccurring trend. Hex Haywire parasocial donation yab. This video covers the entire topic very well. But TLDR, Hex roleplayed as a therapist. According to his lore, he's an underpaid student therapist. It goes about as well as you would expect. A fan posted a picture of them hurting themselves and posted it publicly while asking Hex to cure them. He did clarify he wanted to establish a boundary, but then proceeded to tell his fans to trauma jump through his Streamlabs. Also, a bit of artism involving some hats. This is just the surface of what he did that was concerning. There's no further info. Oh, sorry, there is further info with sources in that video. Honestly, are you surprised? What the heck? Millie's 4chan stream controversy. No, 4chan. No. This video speaks for itself. Basically, Millie planned to collab with a good chunk of Niji En and created a 4chan-esque stream while the livers made questionable comments. Yes, definitely be wary of what you read on 4chan for sure. Kyo Kaneko Korean's artism allegations. This one is thankfully tame. Kyo mentioned how Korea was the capital of, of plastic surgery and such. On a pretty stale stereotype joke, he was stealth suspended for 2 weeks regarding this issue. This one was pretty reasonable, which begs the question why Niji En fired Zaion was fired over a joke, and Yuki can get away with being an arsonist constantly for the past several years. It's completely correct. The statement is absolutely correct. There's lots of double standards here for sure. Luca's former mod Scorched Earth controversy. This one has been circulating for some time now, especially after Selen's termination. Basically, Luca's former mod, Raziel Warmanik on Twitter, blasted Luca on Twitter during the height of the firestorm that followed Selen's termination. Through her Twitter thread, she leaked screenshots of information regarding Luca. Some of the questionable ones were mentioned. Luca didn't actually write his own birthday merch. Oh, yes, I remember this. And had Raziel write it for him. There are tweets that comment how his writing looked girly to some fans. She also wrote the Sakura Bloom and Birthday VP packs for him. She also carried out much of the work which he took credit for, such as all the Minecraft projects. Allegations of Luca's sexual harassment towards her and other girls. The fact that Raziel was a married woman and groomed Luca after meeting each other on VR chat. Yikes! Not a vibe. Former Ian Livers alluding to bigger problems within Niji Ian. Matera, formerly known as Nina, mentioned how the company refused to let her defend her own fans. Also, that's crazy. Also stated how surprised she was that VShojo's management was cooperative and helpful when Nijisanji's management was the opposite. Yes, that's true. That's terrible. Kiro, formerly known as Mistia, was screwed over by Niji's own incompetent management. He was recommended an accountant by Niji. That's fair. And that accountant turned out to be less than useful. No! Instead of helping him with taxes, the accountant put him 300,000 USD in debt. How do you manage? This is supposed to be vetted by a company. Oh my god. It was VShojo that eventually helped him move on past from it. VShojo ended up, oh my god, this is insane. This is insane. He's also been vocal about Nijisanji's mistreatment and terrible management as Kiro. Yes, absolutely. Not that. My mind is blown, seriously. Pomu, and I will not divulge her current identity as she wishes to remain anonymous and has not returned to streaming, broke down in tears on one of her streams, still as Pomu, mentioning how management denied her a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, same as Selen, and how tough it was that management kept on rejecting her projects. Yes, I remember this. This was so heartbreaking. I do remember this. By the way, they deleted the video after it started to spread on YouTube. Really telling that management nuked one specific video where she cries about internal issues. And she was denied her once-in-a-lifetime opportunity and cried to her fans about it. It was so sad. It was so sad. Kamigu, Mika, Niji Indonesia member, felt as though she was a mere stepping stone within the company and felt she was a burden. This also reinforces previous mentions from Kiro and Mantra on how Nijisanji makes people feel that they are worthless without the company. That's so sick. So sick. When not a single former liver has anything good to say about the workplace, this is probably not a good sign. It's like the writing's on the wall. Everyone's saying it. Like, I don't understand why the Niji fans are still drinking the Kool-Aid. It makes no sense to me. Zaion was the prophet. Sayu, formerly known as Zaion, was eerily similar to Selen in terms of termination. Blasted for trumped-up charges, slandered by other livers within Niji Ian, and silenced thereafter. Her termination letter was very similar to Selen's termination letter. In fact, some of the charges are outright identical, if not copied. Zaion's one-girl story reveals an abusive workplace with little to no management. Her manager was a 2-week... Yes, I remember this. Manager was a 2-week hire, and he was also replaced soon after. She was constantly belittled and harassed to the point where she believed she was nothing without the company and was forced to take antidepressants after her termination. That's a poor thing. While the joke she made was in bad taste, it was implied sexual joke and definitely punishment worthy. The fact the company created trumped up charges on top of it, such as adding D's nuts copyright infringement. Oh yes. For one of the reasons for her termination letter was a joke. Not to mention, just this past week, on February 18th of 24, Yuki Violetta was called out for his blatant arseism towards other people. Not once, not twice, but enough for a 5-minute video compilation. Even in Zaya's termination letter, the company claimed that one of the rules she broke was offensive remarks regarding discrimination. Even Kyo was suspended for his Korean plastic surgery remark. Yet what was management's response? Nothing. Does that shock you guys? Does this shock you? No. That should already alert you on the selective enforcement of rules. Yes, they have favorites. They play favorites, and that is not okay within a company. And then they have the termination letter and her side of the story. She warned the public about core issues within Nijisanji, yet she was ignored by the majority of the community until Selen's termination. Which it's sad, but I feel like she's definitely getting her swan song now for sure. We're still not done, by the way. That's right, guys. We're at page 26 of 38. I told you it was going to be long. Get up, have a stretch. Let's continue. Selen's termination, the match that lit the firestorm. Sink the yacht! Doki Bird, formerly known as Selen, had her story spread far and wide. Most of it is well known, but the short summary is this. Very good timeline of events is here for reference. I'll be copying much of that thread mentioned here. All credit to this user, Italin, for the majority of the section. Selen tried to upload a music video, Last Cup of Coffee, in time for Christmas. It is presumed that management knew the video was being worked on, and she had received permissions for the songs for the song owner a year prior in 2022. The written agreement was found online on Twitter. The song had been in development for at least several months from the artist that worked on the actual video. August 2023 to be precise. Highly likely that management had given permission for the video to begin, otherwise she wouldn't have invested $15,000 on it. If management was unaware, that would have been a problem in itself. Okay. And then, let's see here. Okay, so this is, I guess, I don't know if this is like a screenshot. If it says, just to mention one thing, in August, Selen got in touch with 13 artists, including myself, to create a music video for her Last Cup of Coffee, which I posted in my updates. At that time, the email was sent to management department to sign an NDA, but it wasn't until the end of January that I received the official contract. Up until now, I hadn't received any follow-up emails requiring payment details. Although the communication with Selen wasn't very smooth, in the end, she did pay me for my work. This is kind of efficiency. You can criticize the liver for owing... No, wait. With this kind of efficiency, you still criticize the library for owing creators wages. In most cases, commercial commissions only start after the contract is signed and everyone has finished their artwork. The project was completed. Selen had left. There were still some artists who hadn't seen the contract. Tell me, whose fault is that? Selen and the artists legally have to file these perms since they were art of former and current livers along with song perms themselves. Artists confirmed they shared sketches and nothing was some bait and switch. Months had passed, and now it's a week until the project goes out, yet management still hasn't sent in the private approval. Instead, she's ghosted for 37 hours when she most likely had warned her upload date ahead of time. If management wasn't aware, again, this is a bigger issue. It means management isn't doing their job. They are not managing. Instead of giving her the okay to upload, when management finally replies, they send a short message saying they don't have the perms for the IPs that belong to their own company and leaves her unread again. Did I say ignoring 30 messages for 37 hours about a project that has been in development for over a year on the internal calendar for which they received and had filed perms for over a year ago, that's scheduled to come out in less than a week? Sure. Her uploading the video was a big no and a breach of rules, but considering what else we know, why are we surprised at Selen's reaction? This brings up the nitty-gritty details of how management constantly sabotaged Selen to the point where she made zero profit and she was $200K in expenses for 2023. In their termination letter, Niji claims she was at fault for lack of communication with artists, resulting in delays in Selen Tatsuki's commission payment to the artist. In their own words, how did the artists respond? Look at the previous page and image on it. The person mentioned it was literally an artist working on the music video with Selen. Niji doesn't pay the artist and then blames Selen for it. Artists speak up about Niji not only forgot to pay them, forcing Selen to spend out of pocket, which accrued $200,000 in expenses, none of which was reimbursed, but also screwed up their NDAs, which allowed them to tell the public of details in the first place. This was not the first site, by the way. Management regularly canceled her projects, passed her up for sponsorships and collabs, and rejected proposals. They also unilaterally moved her schedule up weeks to swamp her with work, screwed over her Fall Guys tournament, and walled her out of her Sarnio collab, which was one of her lifelong dreams. This is so sad. Why would you sabotage your own people? It's so dumb. What we have here is the repeated behavior of management that is always rushing her and closing down any of her projects, even after she'd made significant investments, for unexplained reasons. This has been occurring for years, and considering Selen's planet exit attempt shortly after asking her fans to upload the video, it can be pretty easy to see the conclusion of the mess. The music video was going to be her sad note, or at least the act of asking fans to re-upload it. The music video was made with good intentions at first, but after being denied by management, she asked her fans to re-upload it, most likely in her memory, before she attempted to exit the planet. After all, management had a pattern of turning down her projects last minute. Why should she expect any different? What gets even more concerning is what follows after her. And then this statement says, in an effort to calm the situation, we sought to either publicly disclose the reasons for making the music video private or have Selen Tatsuki disclose herself. While being mindful of Selen Tatsuki's physical and mental health, management did their best to communicate with, the statement was from their firing letter. Emergency contact, despite freaking communication with the emergency contact. While remaining considerate, we were unable to come to an agreement, and the decision was made to temporarily remove the access to the account, which was not a vibe. If we consider this statement within the letter, they recognize that Selen is most likely committed out her attempt shortly after December 25th, means Niji locked Selen out of her accounts in retaliation for releasing the video shortly after her December 25th tweet. Yet on December 27th, she quote-unquote made a tweet. Unless we're assuming that management could not respond to an emergency within 24 hours, possibly, considering what we know above, but this makes them look even worse. We can assume that management took over her social media and tweeted that Selen was fine, when she was actually hospitalized for an Earth exit attempt. This is the several different levels of effed. I can't even begin to explain how messed up this is. On top of this, in their own termination letter, mentioned how Selen basically refused to agree with management's decision. So despite knowing one of their livers was in hospital for an attempt, they decided to pretend they were her, posted everything is fine, then continued to nag her about accepting their PR. This is also supported by the fact that they specifically mentioned they were unable to reach her while she was being hospitalized. Yes, because she was in the hospital. Leave her alone! They did all this while she was trying to recover. Yes. A second attempt should not be surprising at this point. Instead of trying to support or care for one of their biggest livers who had done so much to support the company, $200,000 out of her own pocket for use to promote projects on the branch in her channel, they instead focused the PR aspect and skinwalked her to throw off her fans. And what eventually led to was the termination itself. 30 minutes before the termination letter was posted, they privated all her VODs and her Twitter. They went full scorched earth, blowing up everything related to her before announcing her termination. Selen mentioned that they didn't notify her of this, and she found out about her own termination through her Twitter. She requested to leave on a more neutral term, a simple termination or graduation, on January 26th. After receiving a non-response, shocking because they have a freaking queue, have an exit queue, she proceeded to send an official complaint, hence her bringing in her lawyer, as proof of breach of contract to terminate herself from Niji. Yet, Nijisanji's management reacted by going nuclear, releasing their infamous 3-page character assassination termination letter, with many similarities to Zaion's own termination letter. Meanwhile, management forgot to remove perms for Selen's mods, and they promptly revolted by promoting Doki Bird, an absolute mess overall that could have easily been solved by management. That's if management knew what they were doing. This entire controversy eventually was leaked to the mainstream because of how badly Niji fumbled the ball. Yep. Asmongold, Penguin Zero said this company is evil. False ID's video, depressed Nijisanji's video, Kyo's video, internal decay of Nijisanji K. White's video, Mujin's video, and the downfall of Niji by Mudahar. So these are big, big, big YouTubers. They all took notice. And I covered it too. Yes, she disregarded with management and told her to upload the video. But to nuke their public reputation in response to that, it is mind-bogglingly stupid. Jump from the analysis from experts section and watch the video from PR Professor. Nijisanji fired a nuke into its own foot to squash an ant. That is a perfect sentence to act. Yeah, absolutely what they did. No matter how much blame on Selen herself, Niji's reaction was very much over the top, very on par with what they did previously with their other talents like Zaion, and unfortunately would have worked like like in Zaion's case, if Selen didn't have proof and support from those who knew her. Yes. Some additional reactions and termination letter. Andrew Dice, a veteran editor in the games industry, released a series of tweets heavily criticizing Niji's public relations posts, citing them as farcical and makes mistakes I would expect undergraduate PR students to be able to catch and correct. Ooh! It says, this document is appalling. It's a farcical. It's in isolation. I would think some of it is parody. Poop post. If it hadn't been posted by the Nijisanji's official English account at close of business hours of a JST and left up flapping in the wind for 14 hours straight as posting. As a public relations post, this statement makes mistakes I would expect undergraduate PR students to be able to catch and correct. Mistakes I expect from a socially awkward sole proprietor streamer. This came from what is ostensibly a public traded company is mind-blowing. This is already a very obvious attempt at damage control. AnyColor is aware of some negative reaction to Selen's firing and is trying to get ahead of the bad press, which, of course, this has the opposite effect of doing. This is not to mention the mass exodus of sponsors, artists, developers that cut their connections with Niji, Height being the most prominent one. Yay! I covered this too. But yes, absolutely, the absolute correct thing to do. Do not support Black Company. Which brings us to another questionable move by Niji. Oh, yes. Yes. Yes, this one. This was so good. This was so good. So this was the statement to their shareholders where this was so good. February 5th, 2024, AnyColor made the decision to terminate our affiliation contract with Niji Liver Selen Tatsuki. The impact of this decision on our financial results will be negligible. The worst sentence ever. The impact of the decision on our financial results will be negligible. Refer back to above where I discussed how Nijisanji seemingly only cares about shareholders and inflating their company valuation. That was the very first page of this very, very long document. We're at page 35, guys. No, sorry, page 33. Just a reminder, we're taking this all with a grain of salt, and this is all just hearsay speculation. Excellent. I know. I just need to remind you guys of that a few times. Okay. After releasing the termination letter, this is what they shared with their investors. Negligible. One of the biggest livers, the biggest EN female streamer, was considered negligible. Based on just finances, sure. But considering the firestorm that was burning through the EN sphere, and specifically pointing out to investors that everything was fine, her firing doesn't change anything? Why would the company even release this? Even if it was negligible, why would you post it to the investors? The first ever statement following the termination of a liver. If she was negligible, then what does that make other livers that were smaller than her? Chopped liver? It does, because they don't care. They're just using everyone to get ahead. If she was negligible, why did the company spend time and effort to terminate her in a spectacular fashion, then run to the investors to calm them down? Again, your answer is as good as mine. We will never know for sure. Thankfully, Doki's attempt failed, and she is still with us today, which brings us to her return stream. Hooray! That was so awesome. I loved it. It was fantastic. I'm so happy for Doki. She deserves all the love and happiness in the world, honestly. All right, so some key points. During the stream, Doki talks about how her attempt was a result of months of buildup and stress that led to a breaking point. She has medical records and lawyer-approved statements about her experience. She also revealed about how she tried to leave Niji on more neutral terms, but was denied the privilege. She only found out about her own termination from Twitter. It's so disgusting. She never wanted the public to know about the bullying drama and that she can't legally say anything more in public about it. Documentation such as therapy sessions and doctor evaluations were kept, and she alluded that everyone knew why she was in the hospital and the reasons behind it, possibly hinting that this information was sent forward to Niji, but they chose to disregard or do anything with it. She doesn't want anyone to be harassed or bullied because she went through that herself. She just wanted to look forward to spending the new beginnings of the Lunar New Year and make people laugh. She's still the same person, and that won't be taken away from her. I'm so glad she made that statement because it was so powerful. It was great. This was where she mentioned that she made net zero in 2023 due to her various projects and such. Knowing what conspired with Niji above, management failing to pay artists and give them proper NDAs, we can assume that not all of the $200,000 was meant to be spent in the way that it was. And then we have the infamous black video. And then we have Doki's, that was during a Doki's Neopet stream. Which leads us to this moment. Yep, this moment in VTuber history. Before we dig into the Black video, I just want to point out something I found particular. Nijisanji released a stream right as Doki was starting her first gaming stream as Doki Neopets. Yes. It was planned ahead of time, so it was likely they were aware that she had planned this time. Yet they released the stream while she was trying to step away from the entire dumpster fire. And the content of it was severe enough that it caused Doki to have a panic attack on stream, which was terrible. Thankfully, she composed herself and gave previously planned neutral statements while she recovered. But this was an extremely scummy thing to do. Facts. And displays very severe pattern of the company seemingly abusing their livers emotionally. Yes, it's disgusting. It's so sad. All right, now into the actual Black video content. In the video statement, Elira claims that what they say is in their own words and feelings that she volunteered her channel to be used for this announcement. Everything that was discussed has been approved by lawyers and were based on personal experience. Nijisanji staff claims that over the past month, they received documents from Selen's lawyer containing examples of her claimed experiences while she was working under AnyColor. The documents included personal information of her coworkers. They note that some of the information contained within, if publicized, runs the risk of personal safety due to doxing. Notably, one section of this document alludes to where Millie, Anna, and Elira live. Elira also states that the document contains information with harmful claims that they believe is untrue. Vox talked about his past experiences with working with Selen and talked about her repeated behavior with not complying with protocol. Vox also alluded to Selen thinking that management played favorites, with Vox being one, and that she secretly recorded private conversation talking about it in which she uses evidence for documentation. Vox talked about his experience about how this isn't the case and they were equally reprimanded by staff in similar situations. We all know that's not true. Ike merely reiterates that the documents shown to them had claims that they thought were untrue and potentially harmful. All three of them claim to have been hurt or betrayed by the situation. A message from Niji En video now officially is the most disliked Nijisanji video of all time at 16,000 thumbs down, and the first Elira Pandora video where dislikes exceed likes 2 hours posting within the video. Elira loses 7,000 subs. Fans continue to disapprove of Niji's statements and actions through various social media outlets. Multiple fans even likened the video's contents to Darvo, a reaction that perpetrators of wrongdoing may display in response to being held accountable for their behavior. I would like to point out that Vox, in a previous stream, stated that people could just leave the company if they disagreed with the company's actions. No, they can't, because there's a queue! So, considering that he took part in this video and slandered the character, there are three possibilities. Vox threw his friend under the bus to maintain current lifestyle and contract with Niji. Or 2, it's actually not easy to leave Niji despite his claims. Hence, they pointed a gun to his head and had him read out this statement. Or 3, Niji showed doctored evidence to enrage Vox and basically lied to him. None of this is favorable for the company or the livers at all. There is also the possibility that Doki is lying. However, considering her following statements, I'm more inclined to believe her words over a company that has a reputation and a track record for doing these things. You see like the line of corpses. It's terrible. Niji basically admitted to sharing her private documents, including journal entries of her recollections of being bullied to the other livers. If the company's own claims that they were bullies among the livers were correct, then they leaked the private documents, some of her vulnerable moments, and her potential bullies. It's also very much possible that they leaked the medical documents along with the livers as well, since Vox, in the Elira's Black video, admitted he went through all the documents very thoroughly. Oh, and they violated Canadian law as well. Yes, they did. Yes. Legal Mindset will definitely, his videos will definitely walk you through what happened. Her response was tame compared to the company's attempt to ruin her character. Though her tweets and the Neopet stream before was abruptly ended due to the escalation, Doki, says the documents were only meant for her and Niji staff and the lawyers involved. Those documents should never have been shared with the Niji live streamers, and that's what Niji did that was illegal. She also says that she has more statements and receipts to release later on. I will say it was never supposed to be shown to anyone other than me, my lawyer, and other relevant lawyers. It was a private document with my own personal information and was used as a legal document to help my lawyer and document my thoughts, and it was never supposed to be released anywhere to any other parties outside of the legal department. It makes me wonder if my medical and hospital records were also released without my consent, as this was promised to be kept private. I also would have been worried about this too. I am currently talking to my lawyer, and thankfully only my diagnosis and reason for hospital stay was reported without further private information being disclosed. It was requested that none of this information should be revealed to anyone other than legal. Thank you, everyone, for the support. I really wish things did not have to go this way, and I didn't say anything more, and I was ready to move on and start a new life. Unfortunately, okay, oh, all right, this is the second last page of the document, guys. Just a reminder, we are taking this with a grain of salt. Okay. Unfortunately, this is only the end quote for now. This is true. It's very much possible the company may escalate and cause even greater issues. Yeah, it's just, man, I don't know how they're ever going to recover from this. I really don't. Search up Yuki's Arceus tweet, Wilson's controversial tweet, and art stealing scandal. 39 Daft's claims, oh yes, that one too, and of seeing some of the documents against Toki Bird and slandering her on Twitch. There's more to this drama, but much has already been extensively covered by False ID, Kyo, along with many other YouTubers who have videos on these channels, with these issues on their channel. I won too. And I'm exhausted writing all of this. This was a rough ride. No kidding. Oh my goodness. Well done. Seriously. Analysis from the experts. PR professor with a PhD in mass media goes over it here. Corporate lawyer with experience in Japanese and Korean laws. Note he does not specialize in... Oh, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Oh. He does not specialize in Canadian law. And then we have a Canadian lawyer analyzing the situation. These are all really, really great sources. Absolutely. Thank you for reading. I hope this was helpful. Feel free to source it and spread this far and wide. You have my full permission to quote it, use it, whatever. The people deserve to know what kind of company Niji is. A black one that has not learned from the past 5 years and has committed the same mistakes over and over and over again. All right, guys, that was the final page of this massive document. It was really thorough. It was really good. Had some amazing receipts and resources. It was really well. I mean, and you can see like over like 46 people are viewing it currently right now. I'm blown away. I'm absolutely blown away by all the information that is here. You would think that Niji was smarten up, but they really aren't. So it kind of makes me feel like this is just like a train wreck that's just going all the way into a full-blown crash. Unless they actually do something different, which it doesn't seem like they're going to do. It seems like this is just going to go up in flames. And we're all ready with our sticks and our marshmallows. So guys, let me know in the comments, what did you think of this document? Were there some things that shocked you? Was there things that you already knew? What is your prediction for the future of Nijisanji? Let me know in the comments. If you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. Give me a like and a share. Likes are very important for my channel. It gives my tiny channel exposure. And I need your help to defeat yachts. So like my stuff. If you want to follow me on Twitch, I stream every single day. Twitch.tv/LydiaVTuber. Thank you so much for joining me today, everyone. I love you all. And please take a stretch and take care. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for watching the video. Shout out to my patrons that help make these videos possible. If you want to help support the channel, you can always join me on Patreon, subscribe to me on Twitch, or become a member on YouTube. I also have links to merch in the description below. As always, I appreciate your support, and I'll see you in the next video. Mwah!